in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Yet he is wise, and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will rise against the house of evildoers, and against the help of them that work iniquity. Now the Egyptians are men, and not God, their horses flesh, and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that hopeth shall fall down, and they shall fall together. For thus has the Lord spoken unto me, like as a lion, as the young lion roaring on his prey. When a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them. So shall the Lord of hosts come down to fight for Mount Zion and for the hill thereof. As the birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. Turn ye unto him from whom the children of Israel have deeply revolted. For in that day every man shall cast away his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which your own hands have made unto you for a sin. Then shall the Assyrian fall with the sword, and not of a mighty man, and the sword not of a mean man shall devour him. But he shall flee from the sword, and his young men shall be discomfited. And he shall pass over to his stronghold for fear, and his princes shall be afraid of the ensign, saith the Lord, whose fire is in Zion, his furnace is in Jerusalem. Behold, the king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And the eyes of them that see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall hearken. The heart also of rash shall understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stampers shall be ready to speak plainly. The vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. For the vile person will speak vanly, and his heart will work iniquity to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord, to make empty the soul of the hungry. Then he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. The instruments also of the churl are evil. He devises wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. But the liberal devises liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, and careless women, for the vintage shall fail. The gathering shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Upon the land of my people shall come up thorns and briars, yea, upon all the houses of joy in the joyous city. Because the palaces shall be forsaken, the multitude of the city shall be left, the forts and towers shall be for a thence forever. The joy of wild asses, a pasture of flocks, until the Spirit be poured upon them from on high, and the wilderness be a fruitful field, and the fruitful field be counted for a forest. Then judgment shall dwell in the wilderness, and the righteousness remain in the fruitful field. And the work of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness quietness and assurance forever. And my people shall dwell in a peaceable habitation, in assured dwellings, in quiet resting places. When it shall hail coming down and on the forest, and the city shall be low in a low place. Blessed are ye that sow beside all waters, and send forth thither the feet of ox and the ass. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. When thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. O Lord, be gracious unto us. We have waited for thee. Be thou their arm every morning, our salvation in the time of trouble. At the noise of the tumult the people fled. At the lifting up of thyself the nations were scattered. And the spoil shall be gathered like the gathering of a caterpillar, as the rushing to and fro of locusts shall be run upon them. The Lord is exalted, for he dwelleth on high. He hath faileth Zion with judgment and righteousness. And wisdom and knowledge shall be as the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord as his treasure. Behold, the valiant ones shall cry without, and ambassadors of peace shall weep bitterly. The highways lie waste, the wayfaring man seeth this. He that broketh in the covenant, he hath despised the cities, regardeth no man. The earth mourneth and languisheth. Lebanon is ashamed, and a hewn down. Sharon is like the wilderness. Bashan and Carmel shake off their fruits. Will I arise, saith the Lord. Will be exalted. Now will I lift myself up. Ye shall conceive chaff, ye shall bring forth stubble, your breath as a fire shall devour you, and the people shall be as the burnings of lime. As thorns cut up, they shall be burned in the fire. Hear ye that are far off, what I have done, and ye that are near, acknowledge my might. Sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness hath surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with the everlasting burnings? He that walketh righteously and speaketh uprightly. He that despiseth the gain of oppressions. He that shaketh his hands from holding of briars, that stompeth his ears from hearing of blood, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil. He shall dwell on high. His place of defense shall be the munitions of rocks. Bread shall be given to him. Water shall be sure. Thine eyes shall see the king in his beauty. They shall behold the land that is very afar off. Thine eyes shall meditate terror. Where is the scribe? Where is the receiver? Where is he that counted the towers? Thou shalt not see a fierce people, a people of a deeper speech than thou canst perceive, of stammering tongue that thou canst understand. Look upon Zion, the city of our Solomonites. Thine eye shall see Jerusalem, a quiet habitation, a tabernacle that shall not be taken down. Not one stakes thereof will be unto us a place where broad rivers and streams, wherein shall go no galley with oars, neither shall gallant ship pass thereby. For the Lord is our judge, the Lord is our lawgiver, the Lord is our king, he will save us. Thy tacklings are loosed, they could not well strengthen their mast, they could not spread their sail. Then is the prey of a great spoil divided, the lame take the prey, and the inhabitant shall not say, I am sick. The people that dwell therein shall be forgiven their iniquity. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all therein, the world and all things that come from it, of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out. Their slick shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountain shall be melted with their blood. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, as a leaf falleth off from the vine, and as the falling fig from the sword tree. For the sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon the Idumea, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. With the sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys and of rams. And the Lord hath a sacrifice in Borzah, and the great slaughter in the land of Idumea. And the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. It shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. But the cormorant, the bittern shall possess it, the owl also, and the raven shall dwell in it, and he that shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion, the stones of emptiness. They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there, and all her princes shall be nothing. And thorns shall come up in her places, nettles and brambles in the fortress thereof, and it shall be as an habitation of dragons and a court of owls. The wild beast of the desert shall also meet with the wild beast of the island. And the satyr shall cry to his fellow. The screech owl shall also rest there, and find for herself a place of rest. There shall the great owl make her nest, and it has gathered them. He hath cast lot for them, and his hand hath divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever. From generation to generation shall they dwell therein. The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice, and the blossom as the rose. It shall blossom abundantly, and rejoice even with the joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it, and excellency of Carmel and Sharon. They shall see the glory of the Lord, and the excellency of our God. Strengthen ye the weak hands, and confirm the feeble knees. Say unto them that are of a fearful heart, Be strong, fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, even God with a recompense. He will come and save you. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Then shall the lame man leap as a hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. And a parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water, and the habitation of dragons, where each lay, shall be grass with reeds and rushes. And a highway shall be there, a way that it shall be called the way of holiness, and the unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be it for those, though wayfaring men, though fools shall not err therein. No lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go up thereon. It shall be found there, and the redeemed shall walk there. And the ransomed of the Lord shall return, and come to Zion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads, and they shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. Now it came to pass in the 14th year of King Hezekiah that Sennacherib the king of Assyria came up against the defended cities of Judah and took them. And the king of Assyria sent to Reshkenah from Lachish to Jerusalem unto King Hezekiah with a great army, and he stood by the conduit of the upper pool in the highway of the forest field. Then came forth unto him Eliakim, Hezekiah's son, which was over the house, and Shebaniah the scribe, and Jonah, and Asaph's son, and the recorder. Reshkenah said unto them, Say ye now to Hezekiah, Thus saith the great king, the king of Assyria, What confidence is this wherein thou trustest? I say thou, but they are but vain words. I have counsel and strength for war. Now on whom dost thou trust, that thou rebellest against me? Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, wherein if a man lean, it will go into the hand of and pierce it. So is Pharaoh the king of Egypt to all that trust in him. But if thou say to me, We trust in the Lord our God, it is not he, whose high palaces and whose altars Hezekiah hath taken away, and said to Judah and to Jerusalem, He shall worship before this altar. Now therefore give pledges, I pray thee, to my master the king of Assyria, and I will give thee 2,000 horses, if thou be able on thy part to set riders upon them. Now, how then wilt thou turn away the face of the captain of the least of my master's servants, and put thy trust on Egypt for the chariots and for horsemen? And am I now come up without the Lord against this land to destroy it? The Lord said unto me, Go up against this land and destroy it. Then Eliakim and Shebna and Jonah unto Reshkenah, Speak, I pray thee, unto thy servants in the Syrian language, for we understand it, and speak not to us in the Jews' language, in the ears of the people that are on the wall. Then Reshkenah said, Hath my master sent me to thy master, and to thee to speak these words? Hath he not sent me to the men that sit upon the wall, that they may eat their own dung, and drink their own piss with you? Then Reshkenah stood and cried with a loud voice in the Jews' language, and said, Hear ye the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. Thus saith the king, Let not Hezekiah deceive you, for he shall not be able to deliver you. Neither let Hezekiah make you trust in the Lord, saying unto Hezekiah, For thus saith the king of Assyria, Make an agreement with me by the present, and come up out of me, and eat every one of his out of his vine, and every one of his fig tree, and drink every one the waters of his own cistern, until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of corn and wine, a land of bread and vineyards. Beware lest Hezekiah persuade you, saying, The Lord will deliver us. Hath any of the gods of the nations delivered his land out of the head of the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath and Aparad? Where are the gods of Severim? And they have delivered Samaria out of my hand. Who are they among all the gods of these lands that have delivered their land out of my hand, that the Lord should deliver Jerusalem out of my hand? And they held their peace, and answered him not a word. For the king's commandment was, saying, Answer him not. Then came Eliakim the son of Hilkiah, and was over the household of Shebaniah, and the scribe Jonah and the son of Asaph to the recorder of Hezekiah with their clothes rent, and told the words of Rabshakeh. And it came to pass, when King Hezekiah heard it, he rent his clothes, and he covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the house of the Lord. And he sent Eliakim, who was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the priests covered with sackcloth unto Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz. And they said unto him, Thus saith Hezekiah, The day is a day of trouble, a day of rebuke, and a day of blasphemy. For the children have come to the birth, then there is no strength to bring forth. It may be the Lord thy God will hear the words of Rameshina, and with the king of Assyria, his master, sent to reproach the living God, and will reprove the words which the Lord thy God hath heard. Wherefore lift up thy prayer for the remnant that is left. So the servants of the king Hezekiah came to Isaiah, and Isaiah said unto them, Thus shall ye say unto your master, Thus saith the Lord, Be not afraid of the words that thou hast heard, wherewith the servants of the king of Assyria hath blasphemed me. Behold, I will send a blast upon him, and he shall hear a rumor, and return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword of his own hands. So Rabeshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah, for he had heard that he was departed from Lachish, and he heard concerning Tikhara, the king of Ethiopia. He came forth to make war with thee. And when he heard it, he sent messengers to Hezekiah, saying, Thus shall ye speak to Hezekiah the king of Judah, saying, Let not thy God, whom thou trustest, deceive thee, saying, Jerusalem shall not be given into the hands of the king of Assyria. Behold, thou hast heard what kings of Assyria have done to all the lands, destroying them utterly, shalt thou be delivered. Have the gods of the nations delivered them, which my fathers have destroyed, as Gozan, Haran, and Rezpah, and the children of Eden which were in Telshar? Where is the king of Hamath, and the king of Aphad, and the king of the city of Savarim, and Hena and Iva? And Hezekiah received the letter from the hand of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up unto the house of the Lord, and spread it before the Lord. And Hezekiah prayed unto the Lord, saying, O Lord of hosts, God of Israel, that dwellest between the cherubims, thou art the God, even thou alone, of all the kingdoms of the earth. Thou hast made heavens and the earth. Incline thy ear, O Lord, and hear. Open thine eyes, O Lord, and see. Hear all the words of Shecharonish, which have sent reproach to the living God. Of a truth, Lord, the kings of Assyria have laid waste all the nations and their countries, and have cast their gods into the fire, for they were no gods, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore have destroyed them. Now therefore, O Lord God, save us from his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that thou art the God, even thou only. Then Isaiah the son of Amos sent to Hezekiah, saying, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, Whereas thou hast prayed to me against Shecharib the king of Assyria, this is the word which the Lord hath spoken concerning him. A virgin, the daughter of Zion, hath despised thee, and languished thee to scorn. The daughter of Jerusalem hath shaken her head at thee. Whom hast thou reproached and blasphemed? And against whom hast thou exalted thy voice, and lifted up thine eyes on high, even against the Holy One of Israel? By thy servants hast thou reproached the Lord, and hast said, By the multitude of my chariots am I come up to the height of the mountains, to the sides of Lebanon, and I will cut down the tall cedars thereof, and the choice fir trees thereof. I will enter into the height of his border, and the forest of his Carmel, and I have digged and drunk water. With the sole of my feet have I dried up all the rivers of the besieged places. Hast thou not heard long ago how I have done it, and of ancient times I have formed it? Now I have brought it to pass, that thou shouldest be to lay waste defended cities into ruinous heaps. Therefore their inhabitants were of small power. They were dismayed and confounded. They were as the grass of the field, as the green herb, as the grass of the housetops, as the corn blasted before it be grown up. But I know thy abode, and thy going out, and thy coming in, thy rage against me, because thy rage against me, thy tumult is come up into mine ears. Therefore I will put my hook in thy nose, and my bridle in thy lips, and I will turn thee back by the way which thou camest. And this shall be a sign unto thee. Ye shall eat this ear, such as groweth of itself. And the second year, that which springeth of the same, and in the 3rd year sow ye, and the reap and plant vineyards, and eat the fruit thereof. And the remnant that is escaped out of the house of Judah shall again take root downward and bear fruit upward. For out of Jerusalem shall go forth the remnant, and they shall escape out of Mount Zion to the zeal of the Lord of hosts to do this. Therefore saith the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into the city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shields, nor cast a blank against it. By the way he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into the city, saith the Lord. I will defend this city to save it for mine own sake, for my servant David's sake. Then the angel of the Lord went forth and smote the camp of the Assyrians 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. So Sheshkenab, king of Syria, departed and went and returned and dwelt at Nineveh. And it came to pass, as he was worshipping in the house of Nishkarath his god, Azarnamik, and Sherzanim his son smote him with the sword, and they escaped into the hand of Armenia, and Eshkedon and his sons reigned in his stead.